The first white guys to come into this area were all fur trade guys, and especially a group that was sent out by David Thompson, who was an agent for the Northwest Company. The thing that he did that's so amazing is that in 1811 winter, February, he walks across Athabasca Pass, which is a big pass that has been pioneered by mixed blood and Iroquois people who were trappers. So he's not an explorer in that sense. He gets down into boat encampment right at the top turn of the river, which is an utterly astonishing place, even underwater, even under Kenbasket Lake now. And he can't find any birch bark to build a canoe. He has these trade goods. He knows what he has to do. He's behind schedule. He's got to supply trade goods to Spokane House, Salish House, Kalispell House. And he has been observing what the tribes do with their sturgeon nose canoes and dugout canoes. He knows birch bark canoes backwards and forwards from his earlier work in the prairies and in the east. And he basically engineers a new kind of canoe that is split cedar planks sewn together with spruce roots. Thompson made a boat that was very elegant, very much like a basket, like a combination of tribal technology and European technology, because he'd been out for so long and he just was sensitive to that. So Thompson's in the business 27 years, right? He spends 10 days going down to Columbia, so it's really not a challenge to him. So he's stopping at every village to give them this fur trade message that is part of his job. But mostly they're having a wild ride. And what do voyageurs want to do when they're in a canoe? They want to make time, they want to paddle, they can handle the water. They've done it their whole life. So it's not the challenges that you would think. Then when they're coming back upstream, they've gone upstream their whole life. So they're geniuses at finding the eddies and the backwaters that allow them to go upstream. So they're very good at that. They don't talk about danger particularly, even though it seems very crazy to us. Somebody gets bumped out of the canoe just below Kettle Falls. The steersman gets bumped out of the canoe and they have to get him, but nobody dies. Nobody gets hypothermia, you know. And even though they can't swim, everybody gets dragged out. They've been doing this all their lives, and they're really good at it. It's more the mechanical, engineering, and social problems that they have to deal with. It's very clear that he wouldn't have gotten anywhere unless the tribes were helping him. And he sits down with the elders and gives them a stick, and they draw the maps in the sand, and he asks them things, and they tell him stories, especially in the winter. One of the great amazing things about Thompson is his journals for over here are not transcribed for his 2 winters at Kootenai House. And so if you read his journals that are transcribed, you just get a feeling of a very obsessive guy getting up every day and making his miles and doing his work. If you read the winter journals, he goes for a ride in the morning, often with a tribal person. He looks at birds. When he's at Salish House in the winter of 1811-12, he's going out and sitting on hills with an elder and just watching to see what happens, and then writing down what the elder says about, oh, look, here's a wolf, here's what happens when you die, you know. And he writes about the Salish people that he met in Montana, Idaho, Washington. I never really got a very good handle on what they were talking about on those, because I didn't have enough language skills to understand what they were saying. There's very few early explorers that talk about their lack of language skills to get at some very interesting, thorny philosophical point. But Thompson, again, is that kind of guy. He's curious, he wants to know, and he can't show it when he's at work. He has to take care of work first.